5 steps to become a better person. I think most people can relate when you're going through those times where it's like, you feel like you could be doing so much more. You feel like you could be a better version of yourself. But in the big picture, it seems confusing or scary to get to that point. Like, how do you even do it? Since I really started taking my life in a better direction, what I learned over the last 10 years alone was it's actually just the little things. It's just being repetitive with the little things. It's not stumbling upon this crazy amount of cash or having like the best person in your life that's going to do everything for you. It's honestly not even getting the dream job that's going to make you a better person. If you can't love yourself while working in the career that you love, you will come to a point where it gets frustrating, it gets daunting, it gets annoying, and then you'll start to hate it. Step number 1, you have to take care of yourself. It's no surprise that I've had the best outcome, like the best success rates of what I do in my career, and just like me being a person, like my happiest times have always been related around the times where I stuck with a specific gym and fitness schedule. Lo and behold, the same could be said about the opposite. I think back to some of like the worst moments of my life, even where like on paper, I should be genuinely happy. Like the biggest financial years, the largest amount of views that I've gotten on social media platforms, like the glorified vanity metrics, like, aha, that guy is definitely feeling great about himself. But in fact, those were some of my worst times because I didn't take care of myself. I didn't feel good half the time. I was eating shit processed foods and letting myself go after years of hard work from letting myself go previously. I just felt defeated. I hated what I was doing to myself, no matter how much money I made and what accolades I accomplished. When I was going through some of the toughest times where like on paper, everybody probably thought everything was great, but I just wasn't happy with myself, I came across the quote that said, "You are your greatest asset. You're your greatest investment." Investing into yourself today in the present moment is what is going to, in the long run, pay off. And I mean, this doesn't just stop at like physical health, like just taking care of yourself physically, like a physical appearance. It also relates to the mental side as well. You have to have a grasp on where you are. The majority of us are like fucked up in some way and come from some fucked up background. It's like one of the biggest things that a lot of us can relate to. But for some reason, especially in men, we develop this idea that we can't fucking focus on our mental. We can't challenge ourselves to be better and look and internalize who we are to want to improve and have an overall better quality of life. Isn't that kind of like the dream, to be just so free of shit that you get to appreciate every day that you're here? But I assure you, the second you start taking care of yourself first, physically, mentally, you will make progress into being a better version of what you currently are. Step number 2, identify your values. This is something that I've had a challenge with throughout the years because I felt like I've bounced around to appease others, to align myself with individuals who I thought I needed to align myself with. From keeping family members and friends around in my life to having a community that supported me on social media. I've gotten into the trap of aligning myself in different values for years for people to like me. Listen, my view and values on the world are completely different. I'm a little bit more numb. I understand the fact that we only have one fucking chance at this. Inevitably, we are all going to die. And I just don't waste my personal time with values that don't align with the enjoyment of that journey. I don't have the same dreams and ambitions, likes and dislikes of everybody else, but that's okay because this is my only ride and I want to be able to enjoy it with the way that I've enjoyed it. But I think that's like the key is like you have to identify your values in life. Where do you stand your ground on certain shit? How do you feel about things? Like what gives you drive and passion and ambition in certain aspects? Or like, what are those things where you just feel differently compared to a lot of people? You should 100% identify the things that you align with, how you feel about shit. And you should migrate to that shit, whether you have to get rid of people or not to do that. Identifying your values is so important because pretending to be something you're not to appease other people is just such a waste of your time and energy. You spend so much time acting and pretending that you take time away from just living and enjoying yourself. Step number 3, set goals. We are goal-oriented people. We're designed to have goals. We're designed to have tasks in life. And most people take this the wrong way. Like you have to have some big, insane goal, some almost unobtainable goal. Like social media goals are a prime example I want to break 100,000 subscribers on a YouTube channel within a year. Well, it took me fucking 9. It is what it is. But nonetheless, it was still a goal. It was something that I set out to achieve, told myself I was going to do it, and I did it. But that big goal was accomplished from all the little goals that added up throughout the years. It was I'm going to upload every single week for a year, or I'm going to go on a weekly upload challenge, setting the goal of like wanting to get better with gear and camera equipment, so that way I can improve on the quality. The easiest and best way to compare goals is through like fitness and health. You don't just say, I have a goal of losing 100 pounds, and you wake up tomorrow and you assess if you got to that point and you beat yourself up if you didn't get there. What you do is you build up small goals at first. I'm gonna go for a walk every single day. Then I'm gonna go to the gym 3 days a week. Hell, for some people, it may even be 1 because they're so intimidated to fucking go in the first place. Make that your goal. Like, you're gonna actually get a gym membership, and you're not gonna sit in your car in fear of what other people are gonna think about you. And you're gonna fucking get up and go inside of it. Because once you go into the gym the first time and you realize it isn't that bad, maybe it was a little intimidating. Okay, well, now you're gonna go next week. Well, then maybe after 3 to 4 weeks of going weekly, you have that one session where you feel really good about yourself. Or maybe a family member or friend says, hey, you look great. You look like you've been working hard. And that gives you some motivation. So next thing you know, you want to go 3 days a week instead of 1. Setting realistic, consistent goals, saving $2.70 every single day. Take it out of your bank account, have it on auto, and put it into another account. Doesn't seem like much, but after a year, it's $1,000 that you have set to the side. Honestly, how many people right now have an extra $1,000 that they could just pull out of their bank account and use? But a year ago, if you would have started this simple habit of putting $2.70 into something else every single day and just pretended it didn't exist, you would have an extra $1,000. That little shit adds up. All the cliche sayings are so true. You start with one step. Just like with that money, stacking up small victories and small wins on a daily and weekly basis in the goals that you want to be a better person, to feel fulfilled, you will eventually get to the rewards that you want. Step 4, build a strong circle around you. This part literally changed my life. You show me who your friends are, and I guarantee within an hour, I can assess if you are going to be better off in a year from now or worse. Who you surround yourself says everything. If you put yourself around pessimistic, non-goal oriented, lazy individuals that only want to go out and drink and party all the time, get stupid and waste money, you most likely are going to turn into that same result, because it's what you surround yourself with. It's what you see all the time. It's the thing that you can relate to. Look, I know it's tough. Some of us had family or friends that we grew up with our entire life that we had to fucking cut off. But I'm telling you right now, 13 years later, I wouldn't trade those cutoffs for a day in my life. I don't even remember what it was like to enjoy time with those individuals. It's like we put some kind of burden on ourselves to constantly keep in touch and hold on to these relationships that we developed at an early age. Because why? Because we are young. Your focus changes. People come and go. The thing about cutting people out and building your circle up is you're going to have lonely times. You're going to have lonely phases where you're cutting out people that bring you down, but you're not to certain levels yet to where you've introduced yourself to new individuals that have the same drive and direction where you want to be. As I've been trying to improve over the years, one of the best things I ever did was separated myself from people that didn't want to get better and didn't want to improve. And I started aligning myself with individuals that had dreams, had goals, and also be the type of people that would call me out on shit if I'm not doing what I said I was gonna do. Your circle should challenge you to want to be better. They should also want that favor in return. If you want to improve, there's no room for ego and narcissism and ignorance. There's so much we can all learn. Step number 5, self-reflection and forgiveness. The reason why I kept this for last is because I really believe that this is one of the things that's hardest for most people. Everybody beats themselves up too fucking much. I think it's so important to take the time to look into yourself more often, to analyze and deep dive, maybe overthink a little bit of what is great and not great about where you are and what you're doing. I think more people should genuinely look at the things that are making them happy and the things that aren't. How do those things that are making you unhappy genuinely make you feel? Why do you tie yourself to that shit that still makes you feel like shit all the time. To be honest, I feel like all the steps today really relate with this one, but it's just so important because oftentimes we spend so much energy looking at everybody else, creating these images of how they live their life and how you should be living your life to live your life like them, being inspired by individuals. So you just try to replicate exactly what they do, or fuck, maybe you even hate yourself because you get on like the Instagram doom scroll and you're actually fooled by how individuals live their life. You should never hate yourself and hate your life on the comparison of other individuals online because you actually have no idea what's going on in their head behind that camera. I've had to have some of the most honest and raw conversations in what would be articulated as some of the most successful people that I've met in my industry. Some of the people that are making $500, $700, $1 million plus a year, I've had more tough conversations about how down they feel than some of my friends who just make $70K a year and live their life peacefully. It is like one of those things where grass is always greener, but spending your time and energy where you could be assessing yourself and building yourself up and taking that and focusing on other individuals, it's a huge recipe for disaster. And then from there, like when you assess the shit, forgiveness is like so huge. I learned this a long time ago. I went through life for a long time just being really like angry at shit, angry at myself for not taking care of myself earlier on or committing to that relationship that I let go, all the way down to like, oh, this person fucked me up when I was younger. They did X, Y, and Z. You have to forgive. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive others. Having that weight and that burden on your shoulders all the time, like you can't accomplish something. You can't get to this next point because this is still stabbing at your back. It's so unhealthy. You're not all that bad, It's like you have shit to look forward to. There's a lot of hobbies. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of people in the world where you can align yourself and be happier. Stop beating yourself up all the time and learn from this shit. Start turning it into an experience, something that will make you tougher and more calloused moving forward. Use that shit like every single day to remind you like you don't want to go down that path and you want to adhere to the things that will make you happier and the things that you will appreciate. Again, I said forgive. I didn't say forget. Like everything is a life experience. And the faster you realize that, the faster you understand that some fucking power out there has brought things to us in our journey, not to make it tougher, but honestly to make it easier later on down the line. Fuck, man, it's not a superpower when you finally get that. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm out. Peace. Deuces.